Plus, it meant I could say, "It's danger time" again, and I was already really starting to get used to that. You should have seen me go, Danny. I went into slow-mo mode again, just like Zack Danger himself, only better. Seriously. I think I even did a double backflip over the kitchen table and a wicked knee slide under the ironing board. I scooped up my giggling, nappyless brother and a slice of pizza and made a dash for the man cave. "Dad!" I yelled on the way, but Dad was hunched over, crying, so I guessed that Wiggles Bottom United had lost and he'd probably prefer the storm to blow him away with it, so I left him there. He was no use to us now. After stumbling into the basement, I closed the door, leaving the freaky storm behind. Everything felt quiet and still. We were safe. Max and I made ourselves comfy on Dad's dog-chewed armchair. R.I.P. Billy. Max fell asleep and I found a box of Dad's Star Wars toys from when he was a kid, the ones that are still in their boxes and aren't to be played with. Well, I figured it could be our last night alive. Even if we did survive the freaky storm, then Dad probably wouldn't, so I didn't have anything to lose by playing with his toys. All the excitement of the pizza, the explosions, the funky lightning and the Star Wars figures must have exhausted me more than I'd realised. I suppose I fell asleep, as the next thing I knew, I woke up in my own bed. That was this morning. I ran to the window and looked out at perfectly ordinary sunrise over Freaky. Nothing had been destroyed by the green storm. In fact, it didn't even look like it had been raining. There was no damage to the cars, no damage to the rooftops of the houses I had seen zapped with lightning just a few hours before. The swing outside Jamila's house swung gently in the breeze, and Susie's parents at number 8 were both outside, gardening and humming to themselves. Weird. I found Mum, Dad and Max in the kitchen. Mum was programming her breakfast order into the Pancake-O-Matic. "Morning, sweetheart. Did you have fun last night?" "That was a good idea of Dad's to let you sleep in his man cave away from that storm. And aren't you lucky that Dad let you play with his Star Wars toys?" Mum said. Dad smiled at me nervously. Yeah, I replied, relieved that Dad didn't seem mad at me and that he had survived the storm. "That storm was bonkers." Mum sighed. "Yes, it's a shame my weather ray hasn't got its limiter installed yet, or we could have zapped that straight into a nice clear sky in a jiffy." "See, I knew that would have been a good idea." "And now you'll have to rebuild your lab too," I said. "Rebuild?" Mum frowned. "Yeah, the lightning blasted a hole in the wall and there was a tornado and..." Mum dropped her pancake and darted to the lab door. She ripped it open and my jaw dropped. It was totally back to normal. Spotless. Had I not seen the storm tear through the house with my own eyes, I would never have believed it. Dad chuckled. "You must have dreamt it." "As if. That's impossible," I gasped, staring at the pristine lab. "Nothing's impossible in there," said Mum with a smile. But I saw it. It was a total wreck." "Must have been all that extra cheese on your pizza before bed," Mum said, shooting Dad one of those looks before heading into her lab to start inventing stuff. She's still in there now, and Dad's doing the washing up. He keeps looking over his shoulder and mouthing something at me, like he's trying to tell me something without Mum hearing, but I can't quite work out what. I told him I had a letter to write to you and didn't have time to play his silly games, and took my toast to my bedroom, and that's where I am right now, writing this. I guess Dad must have cleaned up the mess while I was asleep. Sometimes it's best not to ask questions. Ignorance is bliss. That's what Dad says anyway. It was one freaky night in Freaky though. Right back soon, Frankie.